your thoughts on it? What can be done about it?
Well, Matt, I just want to clarify a couple things that were in that are. First of all, that is the best turf available on the market. We bought it 4 years ago. It's the most expensive turf out there. It has the best padding to protect the players from injury, from falls. The issue with the turf, in my opinion, is where it's being stored. It's in the basement of the Blue Cross Arena. It's either too cold down there, too warm down there, or humid. We're not sure what the issue is. And let's give all the credit to the Blue Cross Arena staff. There's no building in the country that has turnaround that quickly.
Right.
So the turf doesn't get to lay down, for much time. The comment that somebody made in the paper, I think it was Jeff Cock, is that, it's time for new turf.
Yes. He said it will not last past this season.
Yeah. I mean, if you do the math, all right, math's not my thing, but we're on it about an hour and a half a year per game, an hour and a half. So let's call it 15 hours. We play 10 home games, an hour and a half. Let's call it 15 hours a year.
Right.
Most facilities that have indoor turf like that are open 15 hours a day. So technically, that turf is 3.5 days old.
That's one way to put it.
To say that turf that's 3.5 days old needs to be replaced is like idiotic, in my opinion. I mean, that's not the problem. The problem is it needs to be laid down. We need to figure out a way to get better dates for the sports tenants and not hold dates for potential events that never happen. And let's leave the turf down for 24 hours, and I think it'll be fine.
That seems to be the issue. Is just that there's so many teams playing at the Blue Cross Arena. You have 4 teams playing in the winter, and every weekend, a lot of weekends, all 4 teams play. So it seems like it's almost impossible to have the turf down more than a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible, though. Nothing's impossible. What needs to happen is the Amerks get their dates, the Knighthawks then get their dates, the Razor Sharks get their dates, then we should get our dates, and everything else comes after, and that's what should happen. Instead, there's all these potential possible hold dates for this event and that event, and if you look at their calendars year after year, some of those prime weekends, nothing happens. The building's dark. And meanwhile, we're being forced to play doubleheaders. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's something that all the team owners complain about is the lack of availability at the arena. I mean, except for the Amerks, obviously. It's a tough situation, but like when we talked to you earlier in the year, you were talking about other potential venues, but it seems like for now this is the best option, right?
I mean, it's really the only option, and I know, like, I got criticized for doing what I did in the offseason and not want to bring the team back, but I mean, I saw this coming without dates, proper dates, afternoon dates around the holidays, afternoon Saturdays. It just, it's very difficult to make this work. I decided, hey, you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to understand that, we're not going to draw as many fans as we could. I understand the financial implication of all this, but we're going to go forward until we figure out how to build our own building, and we're going to do that. That's on my bucket list. We're going to start working on it as soon as the season's over.
I like
I'm going to build. We're going to build our own building.
All
we
right.
have to.
Let's
it's
do
important for the future. Yeah, we're going to do it, man. We're going to have the Matt Goldberg wing. I mean, we're going to do some creative things.
That's awesome. I like it. Anyway, until we have that, Sammy, for now, I'm looking at the MASL attendance leaders. Lancers are at the top, averaging 6,301 fans a game. The games have been exciting. The fans have been into it. You guys are doing good for now. It's a good atmosphere.
I think it's one of the best atmospheres in all of sports, and I love indoor soccer. I love how quick the game is, and I think we're onto something great. But like I said before, we may have 6,000 tickets out there from sponsors and ESL and Salvatores and all that, but let's say the Salvatore guys. Let's say Salvatore as a company, we have over 1,000 employees. We get 150 tickets a game as part of our sponsor packages, being the title sponsor on the jersey. I think we gave out like 10 the last game. 10 people actually showed up on a Saturday afternoon because it's tough, including my own kids. They have to work. Car dealers have to work. The Ides family dealerships are a title sponsor. They have to work. I mean, banks are still open on Saturdays.
Right.
So, I mean, you can go down the list. Saturday afternoons at 1 o'clock is an extreme challenge. So nobody wins. We don't win, obviously, financially. The arena doesn't win because if 2,000, 3,000 people aren't showing up, they're not doing the concession sales,
Right.
they're not doing the parking sales.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to figure out a way right now, until we build our own building, to give the sports tennis the prime dates and everything else comes after. And then I think everything will be fine, Matt, and we're on to something great here. But indoor soccer is here to stay. The MASL is here to stay, and the Lancers are here to stay, brother.
That's what we like to hear. Going back to the turf for a second, Mark Sottili's in studio with us, as always. He suggested that why not have, instead of the people that work at the arena that, they're in the union for, stagehands, right? Why not have the players actually lay the turf down? They might do a better job and actually take more care. Mark, you said in Syracuse that you heard that the players do it.
I heard Doug said something about the Syracuse players actually put down their own turf, but like I said, I don't know how true that is.
Well, first of all, Mark Sottili, 42 years old, gets his first start as a professional keeper. 42 years old, I went back to wearing diapers. Something's just not fair in life. But it's a union building. We can't pick up a chair, and I'm not exaggerating. We cannot pick up a chair and move a chair. We cannot move a table. So for them to let us do the turf is never going to ever happen. I would not allow the people that work at the Blue Cross Arena to iron my clothes, man. Obviously, wrinkles aren't their forte, isn't their strength, but they do work really hard, guys.
Right.
It's a turnaround time. Think about it. Amber games
It's
over.
crazy.
You do all the games, man.
Yeah.
Midnight. Midnight. These guys, they've been there for 12 hours already. In midnight, they got to sit there and roll out the turf. Everyone's tired, half asleep. I think they're doing the best they can with that are surrounding them.
Like Sammy, last weekend, not this weekend, but the one before, they had I think New Year's Day it was or New Year's Eve it was Amherst. Then the next day Lancers, and the next day Amherst. Then the next day in the afternoon Lancers. Then at night Knighthawks. Then the next day Razor Sharks. It's unbelievable. No, I don't think there's any other arena in the country that has so many teams playing in such a condensed period of time. So they do a great job with what they do.
Yeah, but Matt and Mark, here's the deal. This is the issue I'm having. If the Amherst ice was soft and watery, they'd fix it. If the basketball court didn't lay out flat and guys are tripping on the board, they'd fix it. You have to go. After 4 years, you got to have a solution. Yeah. I can tell you, after the first ever game at the Black and Blue War Memorial, I called the turf company. I called the city. We all met. We went over it. The turf guy proved to the city and to the Blue Cross Arena that is the best turf on the market. There's absolutely no reason why this is happening other than the timing of laying it down or the conditions it's being stored in. And after 3.5 years now, 4 years now, and a lot of complaining, after a while you just kind of give up. It's like, hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Until the other team started complaining, in email forums and calls, that's when we started getting some results. But we have tried, man. I can't tell you the amount of times. And I'm not talking about the new city administration. Mayor Lovely and her people, they've been amazing. I'm talking 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were going saying, hey, go pay these guys for this turf until this gets resolved. Mm-hmm. Something's not right here. And so, I agree with Mark. It could be, it takes maybe an extra hour and it can be perfect. Mm-hmm. But to say the turf needs to be replaced after 3.5 days of being in service,
right? It doesn't seem to make any sense. And you know what? Maybe now that with this news article coming out, it'll put a little pressure on the guys, the stagehands, to take a little more care in doing it, and maybe that'll resolve the issue. Sammy, wanted to ask you about this MASL thing. We're about halfway through the season. Lancers are looking pretty good, third place. What are your thoughts on the league so far? There were some goofy things going on out west. We had Hidalgo, of course, pulling out of the league after they couldn't find dates or something in their arena, and they played that game in a practice facility, and Dallas protested the game, and Dallas won the protest, and then Hidalgo pulled out of the league the next day. Have some issues going on in Seattle. The attendance is a little iffy out west. Some of these teams are drawing in the hundreds of fans, but out east, it's looking pretty good. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I think back to what we talked about earlier, all these teams need their own buildings. A lot of the teams that aren't drawing, including Chicago last weekend, we were there, they're playing on playoff Sunday. I mean, they can't get any dates other than playoff Sunday. You can't play on a Sunday during the NFL season. They're doing it. So a lot of these teams are stuck playing on Sundays. That's the issue. Hidalgo couldn't get an arena. The league didn't approve the new arena they went to play in. Dallas didn't like the new arena they went to play in. So, they basically said, hey, if you can't go back to the old arena, which they couldn't, you're done. So they're done. The Seattle thing, I think, is out of everyone's control, but I think Seattle is an amazing market, and the league needs to keep that alive. You saw what happened in MLS, but I can tell you for a fact, back when Seattle was in the USL Pro or the A-League, whatever you want to call it, they would draw 100 fans a game. And look what they're doing now. And right now in the USL Pro and the NASL, there's several teams that don't draw more than 500 fans a game, but the league continues to grow. That's always going to happen. You're going to have teams that are struggling, but hey, if they get the sponsorship or they got some rich owner, who cares if there's 100 people there or 500 people there, as long as they have a team there. And that's all I care about. I think, you're right. The East, Baltimore, Syracuse, we're doing amazing over here. Still, the old MISL teams are really doing well. St. Louis and Missouri are doing fantastic with their attendance in Milwaukee. But, a lot of these teams have never really drawn well. I mean, but they figured out a formula. Detroit doesn't draw well, but they do amazing with youth camps and clinics, and that's how they generate their income. So if they draw 500 people a game, but they make, their budget doing camps and clinics, as long as it works, I really don't care how many people are there. I think we overthink that. If you have a pizzeria and you're not busy, but you're able to pay the bills, it's nobody's business, Just keep on selling pizza.
Sure. And one of the things about the schedule that I would like to see change, and let me know what you think about this. The Lancers do play the same teams a lot, and the Syracuse games are great. Obviously, the Detroit games have been great, but Ontario came out here, and it was an exciting game. But the Lancers don't travel out west at all. The farthest you guys went was Chicago and Milwaukee, and which was great. But what about traveling to Vegas or San Diego or Monterey? Is that possible in the future?
And if it is possible, make sure I'm on the roster.
Yes, you want to.
We go to Vegas. Mark's never coming back home. Here's the problem. What happened in the off season with me deciding not to return, and basically they made their own schedule already. The schedule is pretty much done, and so we had to kind of work around it, and that's what really happened. So next year it definitely be different. We are going to go to San Diego. We're going to go to Vegas. We're going to go to Dallas. We're going to go to the prime cities on the other side. I think in Missouri. I mean, I would love to just play all our MISL rivals, that the fans know, and the logos, and know the coaches, and know the
Wichita.
players.
Would love to see Wichita again.
Wichita B-52s would be awesome. Next year, that'll happen, man. I'm sure that'll happen. Things will be different. We'll probably, the 10 home games, probably there'll be 6 or 7 different teams, with our closest rivals being Syracuse and Baltimore, maybe, playing them twice, and then everybody else just one time.
Do you like the way it's at right now with a 20-game schedule?
What's that?
Do you like the way it's with a 20-game schedule right now? By the way, just so you guys, we have Eliot and Dominic on the line right now. We'll get to you guys in just a minute. We're finishing up with SoccerSam.
That's fine.
But Sammy, do you think the league will stick with a 20-game schedule?
I mean, you can't go more. It's because of the dates. I mean, if we can't pull off 2 more dates in that building, and most teams in the league have the same exact problem. The old PSL played 8 home games for that reason. We forced them to go to 10 to kind of balance it close to ours, and they're struggling with dates, and they're forced to play Sundays and all that. And so that's it, man. You talked about Eliot Fauske. Look at this guy. He walks around with a mohawk, a jersey. He hasn't played in 2 years, and he's still the most popular player. That's like me walking around town with a pizza paddle, but I haven't made a pizza in 20 years. And I'm like making the best pizza. It's like, what is going on with that? Life's just not fair. I'm telling you.
That Eliot, that Christmas tree.
May I recommend trading a pizza pan for a sword?
That Christmas tree hairdo was the best. That was the best so far. I don't even know how you pulled that off. Eliot walked around the arena with literally Christmas lights on his head.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Matt, it was the best till he got home and tried taking a shower. It's like the fire department came. It was awesome. Got burn marks all over his body. It's unbelievable.
Sammy, have you been watching the what's been going on Facebook with the